Hello, this is Robert Barrick. It is after 1 o'clock. I guess it's probably pushing 1:30 at this point. Oh no, almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I arrived home just a little bit before, I guess about 12:40 or so. I had been at the library all day working on pleadings from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock and continued to work on them for another hour after that. But then, since it's Tuesday and the movies are, instead of being like $10 and $12, was only $6 on Tuesday, and so I went to catch a film. I got out at about 12:45 and came home. The dirty cops, the dirty Indianapolis Police Department drone operators were torturing me with illicit discharges of a drone sensor to cause pain and torment as I was driving home. I sent a text, or I attempted to send a text. It looks as though there's a problem with that now, whereas before there was no charge for sending texts to landlines. Apparently now it's going to start costing money, so I'll have to look into that with Sprint tomorrow. It seems kind of fishy that, just all of a sudden today that would happen without any sort of notice. Anyway, and I'm fairly certain that, well, I can't be certain about that right now, but it just seems like something that these dirty cops would try and influence. Anyway, I am stuck outside because when I got home, I had left my phone in the car, and so I put on some flip-flops, I had some shorts on, and I ran out to get my phone out of the car because I needed to send messages because I'm being tortured by these scumbags. Well, I left my key card, which I carry in my wallet. I only have the one. I left it in my wallet, which I didn't bring out with me, and so I had no more access to the building. Now, initially, I also had the code because there's a keypad there, but then that was changed, and I wasn't given another one, and apparently I don't. For whatever reason, I'm not entitled to have an actual key that I can put on my key ring, so I have no access to the building. So I called the numbers for two of the landlords, or the property managers for the building, and left messages, as well as I attempted to call I'm not even sure that Mike still lives in this building, but there was a neighbor who I had his phone number, and so I tried to call that number as well. And of course the authorities are fully aware of it, the drone operators, not to mention the stakeout team, or what I like to call the torture team. So I'm sitting here at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's starting to get cold, and I'm sitting in my car, and I thought that I would just make this video to let people know that IMPD is continuing to harass me in their surreptitious way, as well as continuing to torture me. I am trying to get. I submitted a motion just a little bit over a week ago, and I already heard back that the judge had a little bit of a problem with having jurisdiction over the question that I was raising, and so I'm in the process of trying to get another document together to submit as soon as possible. That I'm fairly certain that they should move forward with it, but I've had I haven't had much luck with that, even though I have attempted to I've spent a lot of time putting them together, as well as I've made efforts to get lawyers, but again, I'm being obstructed from that process as well, because these, I thought that the San Diego Police Department had dirty cops. There's nothing to compare. I've never really had any exposure to police officers before San Diego, before approximately 2 years ago, and now I have no respect for them. I have no respect whatsoever. My understanding is, there is this, police officers do get killed in the line of duty. I haven't done any sort of I haven't done any sort of research regarding exactly how many do, and of course it's a horrible shame when that does occur, when an honest patrolman is faced with a violent situation and loses his life. I think that's terrible. But the fact is, the vast majority of these officers and detectives are nothing more than criminals themselves that carry badges. They are not interested in protecting anyone other than covering their own behinds. It's this game that they play, that they feel that they have the right and the authority to interfere with anyone's life that they so choose, for as long as they choose. They're really criminals with badges. They're disgusting, they're vulgar, they're evil liars. They are. I have never encountered any group of people that is more dirty and gutter and just lying scum than I have in the last 2 years, with the exposure that I've had to at least the police officers that have been involved in harassing and tormenting me. Let's see. This has got to end some way, and they feel that they're going to be able to. I was able to prevail and finally get the money from the back unemployment about a little over, not quite 3 months ago, and it was just $1,000. But they immediately, these horrible, horrible people who had poisoned my employer, got her to cut back my hours even further. I was only making $125 a week because they had already, when I first initially started the job, I anticipated making $1,000 to maybe up to $1,200 a month. Working in this position, but after the first week, I haven't made more than $500 in a month the entire time that I've worked there, as a result of these dirty, corrupt Indianapolis cops interfering directly in my employment. And as a result of me receiving this lump sum of money that they had worked so hard, in fact, enlisting a high-ranking member of the prosecutor's office to actually call someone equally important at in California's unemployment department, which was providing me with my benefits, to ensure that I wouldn't get them. And so they did. They were able to drag it out for months and months and months, but when I was faced with an appeal and with an administrative law judge, where these dirty cops couldn't go forward and stigmatize me in advance, I prevailed. They didn't have someone whispering dirty little lies in someone's ear to turn them against me, which they've done with everyone since I the day following my arrival. These corrupt scumbags, unworthy of respect and beneath contempt. So now, like I said, they had cut it back to where I was making about approximately $125 a week to making less than $90 a week, something like $84 or $85, something that I'm putting in my pleading. So I've been able to, pay my rent all the way up through July, and I've paid a little bit more than half for July, and I am getting some money tomorrow, but I'm not working enough to make my rent. And these folks, I've just taken another, my employer hates me because of, well, they were poisoned. She was poisoned immediately by these dirty, lying, filthy, scummy, trashy officers, and as they, as they schemed and maneuvered and manipulated her and the co-workers to try and cheat me out of my job, and actually to manufacture a pretext to have me arrested falsely. And each and every time, and I want to say there's probably been in the last 6 months a dozen of these attempts. Not exclusively trying to manufacture a pretext, but in relation, both manufacturing a pretext and attempting to, find a justification to fire me. So, and they've, again, they've done corrupt and dirty things. They've tried to falsely, make me look like I'm not being productive by changing my work data in the computer. I'm not kidding you. That's what they actually would take the work that I've done and move it, presumably into someone else's column, just so I would look like I'm performing poorly. So they would have a justification. That's what kind of evil scumbags these people are. And another issue that I posted to YouTube, several little videos that show the manipulation of texts from my employer, and I've gotten one today, which was indicating that I actually got the message after apparently I was supposed to be at work, which is not true because I wasn't scheduled, but I've received this text that sort of indicates that I was. So, these dirty cops and this poisoned employer would have to really have some kind of hard and fast thing to say, he's not good, or he doesn't come to, this stuff about, which is absolutely absurd. I haven't missed any shifts that I was scheduled to be at, that I was notified of in advance, and wasn't prevented or obstructed from going. So, like last week, I was tortured all night long and prevented by these dirty cops discharging the sensor to cause me pain, to prevent me from sleeping, as well as the on-site torture team that commandeered the room beneath my apartment to use handheld devices to shoot up. They actually have ladders, because I heard them moving the ladders around in order to climb up to the ladders, get to the ceiling of the first floor, to shoot these detection devices at and on me to cause pain and torment, to prevent me from getting any sleep. And so I did go to work with having about an hour and a half worth of sleep, and performed my job just fine. It was horrible. but because it was a couple of hours away, I got a little shut-eye in the van on the way to the job. But a month or so ago, the same thing happened where they tortured me all night, and I didn't make my shift. So I did miss a shift. The only shift that I've missed and I was actually had some sort of a write-up when the next time I logged onto my computer, and I certainly put in there I wasn't able to make it because I was being tortured by the Indianapolis Police Department. So there's only one shift that I have actually missed that they were able to give me, this kind of a write-up thing. Now, otherwise, there have been shifts that have come up that I haven't. You're supposed to approve your shifts, or they remove them from your shift. Presumably, you're saying that you can't make them. So it's not an automatic, this is your shift, you have to be here. And then they drop them on you like the day before, without 24-hour notice. That can't be done without, them actually contacting you and requesting it. So I have not missed any shifts, but these dirty cops that they have spent all this time in poisoning my employer are trying to work out some sort of justification now at this point to take illicit action against me. So, I'm going to work my shifts, and I'm going to continue to work on my pleading to get it in, and and ideally I want to finish the pleading so I can start applying to jobs, but I'm probably going to have to do both at the same time, although I think that until I get the pleading in, these dirty, corrupt, despicable, scumbag pieces of garbage that are the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, or the officers that are harassing and persecuting me wrongly, at 10 months down the road, trying to manufacture some way to get me. They want to bust me, God, they're such cretins. They're vulgarians. And I know that might sound, I don't know, snotty, and it's not meant to be. When I say that, I think I'm talking that they are unscrupulous, entitled, this feeling that, we're police, confusing the government power that is bestowed upon them to be faithful public servants, that they sort of in their distorted and delusional consciousness feel that I've got the power, that's my power, and we get to use it as we want to, when it's just a bunch of, thoughtless, like I said, unscrupulous scumbags. Anyway, now it's probably pushing about, it's about 2:15 now, and I'm stuck outside. These dirty cops are, playing their little games, and they're very petty. They're very like, we got him, this is good, we got, they're really, really just unworthy of respect. They're faithless public servants. They're really just, those kind of, we want our pension, we're lazy, we just sit around doing nothing, and then on an occasion somebody will get killed, and then we can pump that up and say, well, we need more money so we can have bigger paychecks and more bonuses and bigger pensions. They're just, dirty public servants that this is the 6th worst crime-ridden big city in America, and I'm not sure, but I don't think their police force is much is much different in size than San Diego. And San Diego has, I want to say, 3.5, 4 times the amount of people. So it just seems very odd that, in this city of 800,000, they have, I don't know, 1,400 officers, whereas in San Diego, the same amount of officers for 3 million people, and almost no crime. I mean, I won't say that, but, one of the safest cities in America. San Diego, one of the 6 worst cities in America, Indianapolis, and the per capita police presence to citizens is substantially higher here, and yet the crime is still far worse here. But they feel that they could spend, at this point, my rough calculation is over $800,000. $800,000 in expenses to torment and harass and persecute me for 10 months, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I guess they're 365, 364, so for over 300 days. We're pushing a year now, so 304 days. So I guess they're shooting for $1 million. They're shooting for $1 million. They couldn't spend that $1 million trying to actually do something and stop crime. Oh, I just wanted to check if that was still going on. And, actually solve some crime. They just had to persecute me because I am trying to sue them, and they want to stop me from suing them, and so they're willing to manufacture a reason to arrest me when I have done nothing except irritate them. He won't let us arrest him. He won't let us do what we want. He's a bad guy. We're the good guys. We say so. I mean, that's really sort of the simplistic mentality of these corrupt scum. But I'm not going to yield, and I'm not afraid of them at all. They are scumbag trash, unworthy of respect and beneath contempt. And and they've been torturing me for 8 of those 10 months, and in some cases severely. Like last week, all night long, I had an hour and a half of sleep because they were pushing this little scheme that they've got going, which is never going to work. I mean, try as they may. So they can try and get their little checklist all done. My understanding is that they've got seven little checklist items on there. Dirty Betty from the prosecutor's office gave them their little checklist of 7 things that they need to get done, and apparently they've managed to manufacture 4 or 5 of them. So we'll have to wait and see. I have no fear of these scumbag pieces of trash, not even this much. I refuse to be afraid of stupid people, and I refuse to be afraid of corrupt, dirty, slimy, scummy, unscrupulous pieces of garbage that are criminals that just happen to have badges. I won't do it. Anyway, I'm working on my stuff. I'm doing the right things. I'm not bothering anybody except the people who are afraid that they're going to be sued because, well, they're going to be sued. So that's why they're attacking and retaliating against me, trying to interfere and obstruct and retaliate against me for my exercise of my First Amendment rights to access the courts, to petition my government for the redress of grievances, for free expression. So, I mean, that's what they're doing. That's only what they're doing, and they've almost spent $800,000 of the taxpayers' money trying to stop me from doing that. That's all that they've been trying to do. That's what kind of scumbag trash the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department is made of, or at least the officers in the Northwest branch that is run by a commander, Dawn Schneider, the first woman in that position. You'd think that she'd be a little bit more interested in cleaning up her dirty command. And specifically, my understanding is that the detective, a man, well, I've already used the word unscrupulous. I can't think of something worse than being so slimy and unscrupulous, but if there is such a word, it would apply to this Captain Frank Doe, D-O-E, that's just because I don't know his last name, of the Northwest branch or precinct of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. So that's basically it. I'm concerned about my life. I'm trying to get it back, trying to get my name back. I've learned a few things regarding the scumbags back in San Diego that I didn't know previously, but has galvanized me even more to have my eye on the big picture and down the road a bit, because Dirty Chris and Dirty Betty are San Diego police officers, or detectives, are way up near the top of my list too. But one step at a time. It's about getting my life back, being able to find a suitable job, and getting these dirty cops to stop harassing me and persecuting me and stigmatizing me to everyone around me, preventing me from finding a suitable job. So that's step one, and that's what I've been working on for 10 months, trying to, fight back and forth, trying to keep these dirty scumbags, these corrupt and unscrupulous pieces of garbage at bay. While I've been, it's been a battle on many fronts, a battle on many fronts that I've had to prosecute while I've been here, because of these dirty, corrupt, slimy, unscrupulous, unworthy of respect pieces of garbage IMPD officers. Anyway, I dropped off a letter today to a judge at the Superior Court, the county courthouse today, sharing my concern about these dirty cops actually destroying court documents, literally destroying and replacing court documents. That's the caliber of individual that we're talking about. Anyway, I'll just leave it there. I'm getting a little slap happy here, a little quiet. I don't know. I guess I might be having to sleep in my car until, I was hoping that someone might be coming home from work or, wherever, a bar or something, because it's after 2 o'clock in the morning, to get back into my apartment. Hopefully I don't see a fire, so I'm thinking that what these dirty cops did, when I ran down to my car to get my phone, and left my key card in my apartment, so I'm locked out, I had a pan of water that I was boiling on the stove, so I don't know if it's still just, the pan is just being cooked on the flame, or not the flame, but the, it's electric. Or I'm guessing that the stakeout team entered my apartment to turn off the stove, or I'm waiting for the place to burn down or something. I don't know. Obviously that's not going to happen, because there are at least 2 and probably 4 4 Indianapolis Police Department people in this building here, 2 in the apartment beneath mine that have the handheld handheld detection devices, that they are climbing ladders to shoot up at me, to torment and torture me. And then there is 2 that have occupied an apartment adjacent to mine that are tasked with collecting video and audio of me, of my responses to the torture. So that's kind of what they've been focusing on. I mean, just a couple of nights ago, I believe they have somewhere between 3 and 4 cameras that they use when I go to the bathroom and when I take a shower. I know that sounds bizarre, and it sounds bizarre to me too, but that's what they're doing. They've got the drone operator is able to take video, and then I believe in this stakeout room they have 2 cameras, because I hear, my bathroom isn't that big, right? It's however big it is, and then there's one corner of the room that they're at, and then they're on the other side of the wall in the adjacent apartment, and then there's another location. There's always 2, and so they have these angular views that they can point at me while I'm in the shower, or sitting on the toilet, or just standing at the toilet. They have a very keen interest in my bathroom regime. Very, very sick, and very, very invasive, very humiliating, and 10 months we're talking here. Although their interest didn't start to peak in that area until October. So for the first for the first 2 months, that's not where their interest was, but it kind of turned there. It turned there. Well, I don't want this thing to go on forever, but it was their first scheme to try and manufacture a pretext to take illicit action against me. They've had, like I said, several more since then, but that was the first one, and that happened just about 2.5 months after my arrival. But yeah, that's it. I guess I'm probably going to be sleeping in my car. Like I said, I left 2 messages with 2 different landlord property managers for this building, and no one's gotten back to me. And obviously the police, who I don't know if they entered my apartment to turn off my stove or not, or whether it's just cooking the pan, is still there after I've been out here probably an hour and a half now. And I tried to call, everyone in that building is poisoned against me, and they don't really want to have anything to do with me, except that, it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde, whatever the police are telling them how to respond this week or that week, that's the way that they're supposed to respond. So one week it's I'm afraid of you. One week is, oh, you're my best friend, I'll come and knock on your door, although for the first 6 months that you've been here, I haven't really had anything to do with you, but all of a sudden I have an interest in chatting you up. Or just ignoring, we don't want to talk to you because they told us that you're getting ready to file a suit, so we don't want you to be able to say that we said anything, so we're not going to say anything to you, so we're going to sort of, persona non grata, where we're just not going to talk to you at all. So it really just depends on what kind of, smear call I call them smear calls, stigmatization, ongoing stigmatization calls that these dirty officers, the drone operators, are making. So I never know, this is the way it is at work as well. It's not like, okay, is this the pretend to be nice to Robert today? Is this the, oh, you're getting too close to filing and so we don't want you to, have any information that could help you with your lawsuit, so we're not going to speak to you at all? Or are we pretending to be afraid of you because a cop said, well, this is the scheme that we're going for today, so this is how you need to respond. I mean, that's the way it is. It's this whole kind of, like I said, Jekyll and Hyde, ridiculous, just absurd, ridiculous. It's retaliatory. It's not credible, right? It's not credible. It's not credible that that they would spend the first 90 days that I was here making my family hate me so that they would throw me out, when for the several months before that I was telling them how horrible San Diego was before I even moved out here, that they didn't tell them beforehand so they wouldn't have offered me a place to move to, right? I mean, it's just not credible that all of the sudden, after I've gotten here, now we're going to start this whole kind of destroying your life again all over again. It's just not credible. Whereas it is credible that on my first day here, I went to the law school with the intent of preparing a lawsuit for San Diego, but coming here to being helped out by my family, getting back on my feet with a job, and then preparing this for going back to San Diego. I did that on my first day. These dirty cops tell San Diego, and then it's on. And then it's on. Well, if he's going to continue to try and come back after us for all the horrible things we did to him in San Diego, well, then we'll just repeat it here. And that's exactly what's been going on for the last 10 months. Anyway, not too hip, but gotta go. Thanks for listening if you made it all the way through.